What's going on, everybody? This is MYG Jeffy T 3285, and I'm just here with a breaking news video from the WWE. And that's in regards to some of the talent that has recently walked out of the company or was recently released in the past year and a half. And I'm talking about people like Johnny Gargano, Bray Wyatt, Maria Canales, and of course Sasha Banks and Naomi. Now that Vince McMahon has been retired out of the company, and Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Nick Khan have assumed control of the WWE, it looks like that upper management is trying to go back and talk with Sasha Banks and Naomi, the former tag team champions, who we all know relinquished the tag team belts after a disagreement with Vince McMahon on creative about a couple of months ago, and walked out of the company and have not been back on the WWE television ever since. Seems like that upper management like Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, who have had a good relationship with both Sasha Banks and Naomi, have recently reached out to both Banks and Naomi in hopes of trying to reconcile with both of the superstars in hopes of bringing them back to the company in the near future. I think this is actually a very good move. It's going to be good PR for the WWE. Try to reach out to two superstars that are very disgruntled after what happened with Vince McMahon, and I'm sure that Sasha Banks and Naomi would at least reconsider returning back to the company now that Vince McMahon is no longer in charge of the creative and is no longer the CEO of the company. So I could see a possibility where Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, who have both been known to be able to smooth things over with people that have been disgruntled with the company in the past because of Vince McMahon, be able to convince Stephanie McMahon, have been able to convince Sasha Banks and Naomi to return to the company and be able to work for the company again, and maybe they could lock the two of them up to extensions to stay with the WWE until they both eventually retire. So this is very good news to hear that the WWE are trying everything they can to reach out and reconcile with the former WWE Tag Team Champions and bring them back to the company. And this is also in regards to some other former stars that were recently released from the company in the past year and a half due to budget cuts, quote-unquote budget cuts, because of Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, and them not having any ideas to what to do with these people with creative. And one of those people that has been outspoken about thinking about returning to the company has been Maria Canales, who was released from the WWE in 2020 due to budget cuts and because the WWE had no creative ideas what to do with her as of recently. And Maria Canales has been one of the vocal people on the internet, on Twitter, that have recently been against what Vince McMahon has been doing with the company, and she has said that she would never return back to the company as long as Vince McMahon was in charge. But now that Vince McMahon is retired, Maria Canales has been open to saying that she's been willing to return to the WWE if the numbers are right, and if the contract is there, and if the right time arrives. And Maria Canales, while she probably is not going to be the best in-ring wrestler, you probably don't want her to be anywhere near the ring. She has the ability to be able to talk on the mic. She does have a presence in terms of social media and in terms of women's wrestling, trying to get the next generation of women over. And she also has her husband that she's been working with in terms of Ring of Honor before, in terms of TNA, Impact, whatever company she's been working for. She has been an influential figure in the WWE before. So I could see a potential where Maria Canales does return back to the WWE in the future. And that's also some news as well with the fact that Seth Rollins went on a recent Twitter tirade about the fact that he's not going to be able to perform in SummerSlam right now, and that he's reconciled with the fans, saying he apologizes that he won't be able to perform in the ring. Triple H even recently reached out to Seth Rollins and even retweeted his message saying, "I hear what you're saying," and there's been a lot of rumblings that maybe a surprise opponent could be in store to face off against Seth Rollins because Matt Riddle was quote-unquote written off TV because he was quote-unquote injured. So there's a possibility that Seth Rollins will still be able to perform on the SummerSlam card going forward, and he could have a mystery opponent at WWE SummerSlam. And there's a couple of names that have been thrown out there with the likes of a Bray Wyatt and Johnny Gargano, who would probably never return back to the company if Vince McMahon was still in charge. But the fact that Triple H is right now in charge of EVP, he's the president of talent relations, and now that he's been appointed the head of creative of the WWE going forward, there's a very good possibility of Johnny Gargano, who is a Triple H guy specifically, and Bray Wyatt, who we all know that Triple H loved his creative ideas and the type of creative input that Bray Wyatt was able to put on TV, whether it was the Eater of All Worlds character as well as the Fiend, that each one of those guys can easily return back to the company and be able to possibly be a mystery opponent if in fact Seth Rollins does end up on the SummerSlam card in some type of matchup. So you have to be very open with the talents that were recently released, and a lot of talents have said now that Vince McMahon is no longer in charge of the WWE and he's stepped down as the CEO and recently retired, and with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H now in control of the company, that a lot of former talents that are either walked away from the company currently or that have been recently released and had said they would never return back to the WWE with Vince McMahon under control, that they are now open to the possibility of returning to the company. And this opens up a lot of avenues for some superstars that the WWE fans have been wanting to see back with the WWE, that it's a possibility that they could return to the company, as well as some AEW stars that might be looking at the WWE as a more attractive landing spot because now they'll have the opportunity to maybe get over in the WWE compared to if Vince McMahon was there, and they probably would have not had the chance to get over with the company in the past. So this is a lot to be excited about. For the first time, WWE looks like that they're going to be open to anything and everything, and Triple H has even said that he is willing to listen to anybody's creative ideas, and he's open to listen to what the talent have to say in terms of creative input, their characters, storylines going forward, and anything, in terms of creative with the WWE going forward. So it's a very exciting time for the WWE, and SummerSlam is where everything could really start getting started. As Triple H has said, he's willing to try to make a splash with the WWE if the possibility is there. And the first thing that could be it is Seth Rollins possibly still being on the card and having a mystery opponent he faces off and a returning superstar to the company, who a lot of fans have been wanting to see back in WWE for a while. So that's just my breaking news update I wanted to give you guys on the WWE in terms of the possibility of Sasha Banks and Naomi returning to the company, as well as former WWE stars who were recently released in the past year and a half due to budget cuts, that they could return to the company, like names of Maria Canales, Johnny Gargano, Bray Wyatt, Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai, and other names that have recently been released from the company that could make returns to the WWE in the near future, now that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are in charge. And a lot of these former wrestlers have definitely been behind what Triple H and Stephanie are trying to build with this WWE company and the new direction they're trying to lead the WWE into the future. So if you like the video, please hit the like button below. Subscribe if you haven't already to MYG Jeffy T 3285 for more breaking news updates and chatter surrounding the WWE, New York Giants, New York Mets, Brooklyn Nets, as well as food for thought. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next shorter video that drops surrounding the WWE. Share your comments below on what you think of the possibility of Sasha Banks, Naomi, Johnny Gargano, Bray Wyatt, Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai, Maria Canales, and any other former WWE star that has been disgruntled with the company that was recently released or is still part of the WWE technically, but wants nothing to do with the company right now because of what Vince McMahon has done creatively and because of the way that they were never booked to what they feel like the best they could be, and who you think could return to the WWE in the near future. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Thursday evening. Take it easy, and we'll have to see what the WWE is going to do leading up to SummerSlam, as I'm going to have you guys a SummerSlam preview and an overview of the SummerSlam card that's going to be dropping before the pay-per-view this Saturday, July 30th at 8 p.m. in Nashville, Tennessee. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening, everybody. Take it easy, and let's see what the WWE has planned for us on Saturday night. Take it easy. Have a great one. Peace, everybody.